This is Geo Creations. This lesson is about Surrealism and linear perspective. Surrealism is a cultural movement that began in the early 1920s and is best known for its visual artworks and writings. The aim was to, quote, resolve the previously contradictory conditions of dream and reality, end quote. I couldn't say it better myself. The paintings have a dreamlike quality to them, especially probably the most famous Surrealist painting of all, the one you see on screen, Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali. For the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to focus on two of the most famous Surrealist painters, René Magritte and Salvador Dali. Magritte's paintings utilize the element of surprise to arrest the interest of its viewers. The images chosen were not random, however. He utilized metaphor and allegory to incorporate philosophy into his artworks. His topics included gender politics, relationships, and war. While these things can often be very relatable in his artwork, the dreamlike juxtapositions add an alienating nature to their imagery. His paintings also reward thoughtfulness and reflection. You may walk away from one of his works and wonder, wait, did I see what I think I saw? Salvador Dali was a skilled draftsman, very reminiscent of the rendering styles shown by the Renaissance painters. However, his illustration style could not be more distinctive, often utilizing strange perspectives and animal representations. As he says here, I don't do drugs, I am drugs. This perspective exercise is heavily inspired by the Surrealist painters. Artists can elect to either do 1 or 2 point perspective, but there are a number of objects I want them to include. After you've established your vanishing point and horizon line, incorporate 1 piece of furniture, 1 door, 1 window, 3 buildings or cabinets, 1 wood or tile floor, 1 human thing, and anything else within reason. First, start out by establishing your vanishing point. From there, we can draw a rectangular form around the dot and establish our 2 walls, ceiling, and floor. The piece of furniture I chose was a bed, and I started out drawing it by creating a rectangular shape. I then connected those corners of that rectangular shape back to my vanishing point to give it the illusion of depth. By adding details like a headboard or legs to the bed, it adds an authenticity to the design. Next, draw a window above that bed. Make sure all of the orthogonal lines point back at the original vanishing point. By creating an X in the middle of that 4-sided quadriceps, I'm able to locate the midpoint of the window. This makes it easier to draw in the vertical and horizontal supports for the window. Next, draw in a rectangular form in the top right area of the back wall. This will be the first step for forming our cabinets for our Surrealist bedroom. Keeping up with this strange motif, we're next going to draw a skyscraper on the ceiling of the bedroom. We do this by starting out with our long rectangular shape. Add your orthogonal and perpendicular lines to give windows and doors to your skyscraper structure. You can also add a wood or tile floor to that right wall. Make sure all of your lines go back to your vanishing point. To create individual tiles on this floor, or wall in this case, you can connect 2 opposing diagonal corners, and everywhere that diagonal line intersects with an orthogonal line, create a perpendicular line to make the separate tiles. To add a small home in the bottom right corner of your drawing area, start out with a square. Connect it back to your vanishing point with orthogonal and perpendicular lines. If you want to add a peak roof, use the X trick to find the midpoint for the vertical axis of the roof. Lastly, put some of those figure drawing skills to the test. Sketch out your skeleton, add masses and details to draw something like this astronaut. Hopefully you really get a kick out of utilizing linear perspective and learning some important drawing skills. Feel free to play with other subjects. You don't have to draw any of the objects I did. Those are just the first ones that came to mind. So long as you achieve all of the requested objects, feel free to place whatever you want and however you want within the confines of this perspective illustration. Next, I'm going to show you how to draw those same objects utilizing 2-point linear perspective. Begin by drawing in a horizontal line with 2 dots on each end representing your 2 vanishing points. Draw a vertical line or a dot line dot in the middle of your horizon line. Connect the 2 dots of that new vertical line back to the left vanishing point. Continue your orthogonal lines all the way to the edges of the paper. Now connect the 2 dots of that vertical line to the right vanishing point and continue those orthogonal lines to the edges of the other side of the paper. Go ahead and erase your horizon line because you don't need it anymore. It's also wise at this point to erase the remaining orthogonal lines, the ones that connect back to your vanishing points, so you can have a clearer view of your left wall, right wall, ceiling, and floor. When starting to draw in the bed, start with a dot, line, dot. Connect those dots with your ruler back to your left and right vanishing points, then crop off the ends. Fill out the remaining structural lines of the bed. Remember, if it's not a vertical perpendicular line, it goes back to either the left or right vanishing point. Next, lay out the shape of the window. Start on the left side with a dot, line, dot, then connect those dots back to the right vanishing point. Crop off the ends to create the right side of the window. To draw in the support beams for the window, start out by drawing an X connecting the corners of the quadricep. This will help you find the midpoint and allow you to clean it up and make a more complete looking window when you're done. After you've cleaned up your window shape, let's put a skyscraper on the ceiling. Draw in a vertical line or a dot line dot. Fill out the remainder of the form, making sure that both your structural lines and your window lines go to both the left and right vanishing point. To create your floating cabinet, start out with a simple quadricep shape. Make certain all of your non-vertical lines trace back to your left vanishing point. Fill out the remainder of your form. It is worth noting that you are very close to the right vanishing point, so the side and bottom of the visible areas of the cabinet will be very narrow. Next, to draw a door on the floor. The door is composed completely of orthogonal lines. Feel free to add a door frame and handle to make your door look more authentic. When drawing the little house on the floor, same as always, start with a vertical line or a dot line dot. Start out by drawing a box, but to find the peak of the roof, draw an X shape connecting the corners of the front-facing quadricep. This will allow you to figure out where the midpoint for the roof is. Add details to make your little miniature home look more realistic. To add wood planks to the ceiling, draw a series of evenly spaced lines back to the right vanishing point. To utilize tiles instead of wood planks, draw a series of evenly spaced lines back to the left vanishing point. Draw a misplaced human figure to sell the surrealist attitude of your drawing. Surrealism and linear perspective go hand in hand. Hopefully these practices will help inspire you to create your own original surrealist perspective-based art. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing what you create.